I call that they don't like to see you winning. They wanna see you in a penitentiary. I need me a little baby who gon' listen. Girl, I don't wanna be the one you ignorant. My mama told me, boy, make a decision.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Clutch Talk podcast /YouTube/ We Do It All. And you see who we got here, man. We got my guys, Jalen and Junior. What's going on, y'all? How y'all doing?
Yo. We're here.
Man, we here. We live, baby. So today, y'all, we got a real special episode planned out for y'all, man. We got the best duos. So this week, we got West. Next week, we are doing the Eastern Conference, man. So, you know what I'm saying? It's some teams are clear. Some teams aren't as clear. But you know what? I'm excited to hear what y'all got. And let's just jump straight into this, man. Y'all ready?
Straight into it.
Do this. I'm ready.
Let's do it.
Let's do this, man. So, you know what team I had to start with, man. You know what team I had to start with.
You don't even gotta say it. I know you talking.
I don't even gotta say it. Do I really gotta say it, man? Come on, man. I had to start with the GOATs, man. Come on, man. I had to go with the Lakers. It really is no question. I don't think it's a question here. We got LeBron and AD. The two players in the league, the only two players in the league that are able to play on offense and defense 1 through 5 extremely well. Can't nobody nearly play as well as them 1 through 5. Like, man, I think that might be the best duo maybe ever. But maybe ever, to be honest with you. So go ahead. Y'all tell me how y'all feeling. I mean, we know who it is, but tell me how y'all feeling about it, man.
How you feeling, Junior?
All right, man. Look, I got LeBron and AD as well. It was close. I almost chose THT and LeBron, as John knows. Yeah, no, me and John's got a little inside joke because he don't see the potential in the kid, Taylor Horton Tucker.
I don't see him.
He's the truth. No, I got LeBron and AD. Like you said, John, there's not much to say. Best duo in the league. It's the only duo out of the entire league that has 2 top 5 players in the same duo. AD is easily the best defender in the league. Don't listen to those DPOY awards from last year.
Easily.
LeBron is arguably the best player, at least based on last year's playoff. He's probably the best player, but you can make a case for AD being that best player as well. And they're the best players on the best teams. They're the reigning champions. And the reigning champions that just got better. They're the first duo since Nash and Stoudemire actually to be all NBA first team too. So, I mean, they complement each other so well. It's crazy. I mean, they have an argument to be top 10 duo all time. Top 10 duo, top single best duo all time is tough because there's some good duos out there. But top 10, I think they got an argument to be there. I mean, that's a nice pair. What you think, Jalen?
I feel like if they win like at least 1 or 2 more championships, then it's like a done deal. One of the top 5 best duos of all time for sure. Because LeBron is just such a good facilitator and AD is such a good person just to receive the ball and play it both ways, where it's kind of unstoppable. You know, like they both play good defense and they both could score and they're both unselfish. That's the big thing.
Yeah, exactly. But to talk about Junior's point, so Junior doesn't think that they're one of the best duos. So I wanted to bring up this point right here, man. So I compared almost all dominant duos to actually win a championship. And LeBron and AD, I combined points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks. I combined all that with the most dominant duos to ever win a championship. LeBron and AD actually ranked second behind Kobe and Shaq. So check this out. So when you combine all those stats, Kobe and Shaq combined for 55 points, 22 rebounds, 10 assists, 2 steals, and 4 blocks, while LeBron and AD combined for 55 points, 20 rebounds, 12 assists, two steals and 3 blocks. So you know, like that, like they are a close second, man. And like Jalen said, if they keep going, which I don't see no signs of slowing down, I don't know why they wouldn't be one of the best duos maybe ever, honestly.
Yeah. No, I could see it for sure. I mean, the only thing I think it's tough to be Shaq and Kobe just because that both those players are top 10 all time. One of them is top 5 all time. And I guess same thing with LeBron and AD. One of them is top 5 all time. But AD is not top 10 all time yet. I mean, just definitely the potential. He's young.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But I think it's going to be tough to be Shaq and Kobe right now. But, hey, like you said, they're on the right path. I think that They get a couple more rings in there, and then we could talk. But even right now, with one ring, if they don't play a single other game together, knock on wood, I still think they can make an argument for being a top 10 duo all time. Like that, they're at solid. The numbers, the accolades. I mean, if you look at it, they're 100%. One trip to the playoffs, one title. You can't beat 100%.
Definitely, man.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on to the next team, man. I got the Clippers. So, I mean, I guess I guess I'm gonna go with Kawhi and PG. But only reason why I'm really going with them is because I know how great of individual players they are. But again, I don't think their game complement each other at all. And as we've seen in the playoffs, they absolutely flunked it. They choked, and absolutely choked it. So I just really went with those two because Kawhi's a great individual player and PG's a great individual player, and I know what they can do, but I don't think together that it works at all.
No, they're not going to get a championship anytime soon, or a deep playoff run anytime soon. I think they need to pick up someone else, or someone has to get traded because them together is not going to work out for the long haul for sure.
Definitely not. What do you think, Jenner?
Yeah, no, I agree. I actually went with Lou Will at Magic City, but I went with Kawhi and PG. I mean, honestly, there's probably the only two good players on that team, maybe except for Lou Will, now that they lost Trez. So, I mean, we noticed when one plays without the other, it doesn't go so well, especially when PG plays with Kawhi, as we saw. But this is duos. I'm not talking about their individual performance. Kawhi's a top 5 player when he wants to be. It seems like recently he doesn't want to be a top 5 player, but when he wants to be, I mean, he's no, I'm not talking about top 5 all the time, just top 5 in the league right now. Like I think when he's on, Kawhi's a scary man. You know what I mean? But it just feels like he kind of picks and chooses when he wants to be on, and I think that lack of just breaking up momentum affected him when he needed to turn it on. He couldn't, and that was against the Nuggets. Their chemistry is not tip top, but you see sometimes they have some flashes of them clicking. When they do, it's nice. But like you said, it's tough because they play the same position, so it's tough to be compatible. Both of them are way too small to play the 4. Not way too small, but they're small 4s, and they're not really 2s. They're really both just made for the small forward position, and when they both play it, it's a little tough. But they're, like I said, when they click, I mean, it's just bang, bang, bang. And if they can get the rest too, because they're 2 players that rely on rest a lot, that could be a scary duo. So I'm not going to knock them. They're good players. Yeah. But it's just, we got to see when they're going to turn it on.
Yeah, like
just don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
Definitely. All right. So moving on to the next team, man. Junior mentioned it, the Nuggets. So the Nuggets, man, they are a bright young team, man. I went with the tandem duo, the young duo of Jamal Murray and Jokic. Man, they really might have one of the best half-court set offense, man. Last year among all players, I want to talk about this stat. Last year among all players who played 25 minutes or more, Murray ranked second among players who played 25 minutes or more to shoot his three-point percentage at 49%. And I learned this stat while looking at some stuff with Jokic. Jokic, he's averaging more assists than any center ever since Wilt Chamberlain, man. So that's a big accolade for Jokic, man. And as we know, Jokic is like a young Marc Gasol. He really is young Marc Gasol, just throwing backdoor cuts and everything, man. So how are you guys feeling about the Nuggets, man? Clearly, it's those two.
I'm feeling like Jokic is a top 10 player as him himself. Top 10 player right now, and just Murray and them together, like the little tandem going on that they got going on. It's really good. It's impressive to see, and it's really cool to see Jokic is getting his team involved and how he can do it in many different ways. He can play the point guard, he can play the center, and then Jamal Murray is a knockdown shooter when he wants to be, high volume shooter. But they both work well together because Jokic is a distributor, and that's what Jamal Murray needs. So it's perfect for the whole team.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's not much to disagree here. It's got to be Jokic or Murray. Jokic is the best center in the league. Disclaimer: if you count AD as a 4, then yes. But I'm not gonna I don't want to just jump in here and say Jokic is better than AD. But if you count AD as a 4, Jokic is the best center in the league. And I actually had to say something about this too because I selected Jokic and Murray as well. But I won't even lie. At first, when Murray just kind of started blowing up, I thought he was overrated. Like I was like, nah, he's not all that. But he's really grown into that hype and proven that he's a solid, he's a star player. He's a star player, and like I think that he's not at the superstar tier, but he's at the star tier, like the one tier right below that. And I think they got a huge advantage because they're both young and they complement each other so well, like Jalen said. I mean, Jokic is such good court vision; he can really complement with anybody. Yeah. But that's a solid young duo. I mean, you'll notice here in my other duos too. We have this trend where a lot of the duos are real young kids, basically.
Kids,
and I know, and I think that Jokic and Murray might be arguably the best young duo there is in the league. I mean, there's an argument that could be made, but when you look at both of them, I mean, the best young one is obviously going to be Luka, but. We'll get to the Mavs, but when you look at both of them combined, I think it's Jokic and Murray are right there.
Most definitely. All right, so moving on to the next team, man. We got the Trash Brothers. We got the Warriors. We got. I went ahead and went with Klay Thompson and Curry. I know Klay is hurt, but who else was I going to pick on that team? That's the real question. And when they are back, when Klay is back. Yeah, I mean, I don't like them, but, they can do work. Like, you know what I'm saying? But one knock I have on both of those players is that they need each other. Curry cannot win without Klay, and Klay cannot win without Curry. And the reason why I say this is because Klay needs to be running off screens and having Curry feed him, right? And Curry, I feel like Curry thrives when the defense is paying so much attention to Klay, because you're running around trying to find Klay. You're going to end up slipping up, and Curry's going to end up having an open shot from deep, man. So that's why I think that, like, those two players absolutely need each other to be able to win. And they're the Trash Brothers, in my opinion. But, but they're the best two duos on the Warriors. I didn't know who else I was going to pick. How you guys feel about them?
The same thing. It was Curry and Klay, too. I kind of have like a little personal connection to the Warriors because somebody that I used to go to high school with is on the team right now. His name is Juan Anderson. He started a couple of games, number 95. He starts on the team, so I mean, that's the only reason why I would not even pick him as a duo. But there's no one else to pick because everybody else is just so average on the team. Like it's not even a team right now. It's just like a tryout, it looks like. Everybody
they just kind of put a bunch of players together, to be honest.
Like a scrimmage almost. All these G League players coming up and stuff. Yeah.
Junior, how you feel about him?
Man, actually, so for mine, I actually went with Steph and Blank. So I couldn't put Klay because he's out for the whole season. So I wanted to talk about duos for the season. So I didn't want to put Klay there. Obviously, if he wasn't hurt, it'd be them. But honestly, I don't know who to pick because Oubre got off to a horrible start, and he hasn't played that many games with Curry, right? Wiggins was bad last season and continues to be bad this season, and Steph barely played last season too, so we couldn't even see him and Wiggins together that much. And then the only bright spot with that Warriors team, aside from Curry, obviously, is Wiseman. So maybe Curry and Wiseman become a solid duo. I mean, I'm sure that'd be nice for Warriors fans. Best 3-point shooter of all time, paired with a solid mobile big. We'd have to see how they develop it. That sounds like a recipe for a good duo. For years to come. I mean, I don't know how old Curry is, but he just shoots, so it's not like his body's gonna get banged up from going to the paint or anything. So that could be a good duo, but it's been like 3, 4, 5 games. Well, we'd have to actually see how they're gonna fit. As time just develops. So I had to go with Steph and Blank. I'm sorry for not coming up with a second person, but there just isn't anybody. I'll go Steph and Jalen's homie Juan Anderson because there really isn't anybody. I guess if you want to say Steph and Draymond, but Draymond's out too. But maybe that's the best we could do because I think they're the only two players on that team that get minutes and actually have experience playing with each other. So maybe Steph and Draymond. I guess that's what we got to go with. But we'll see what happens. Draymond, ever since he got that bag, he hasn't been the same.
He's been
so Could be Wiseman, but no. Right now it's got to be Draymond. Just out of lack of options, me and stuff. That's
All right. All right. So moving on to the next team, man. So we got the Suns. So let's talk about the team over there in Phoenix, man. So I had to really think about this one. I really did, and I wanted to say CP, but CP's too old. CP's too old. So I
certified
went with,
CP hater in the building.
I see. Like I said, I don't see CP getting them over that hump and even getting them to the playoffs. That's a whole nother topic. But the duo I went with on that team is DeAndre Ayton and Devin Booker, man, because this is a pick and roll league. If you watch any NBA game, the offense starts and gets initiated with a high pick and roll at the top. And if D-Book and DeAndre Ayton can get a pick and roll game going on, that's scary. Because DeAndre Ayton has potential, man. He's strong. He's big. He's a mobile big. You could throw him lobs. So if they can get that going, that'll be scary. But my only problem is that DeAndre Ayton doesn't stay healthy or doesn't play. He only played 60 games his first year. Then his second year only played 38 games. So let's see. Let's see what he does in his third year and if he'll be able to stay healthy, and if so, if he'll be able to pair up with D-Book. How you guys feel about the Suns?
I got the same. D-Book and Ayton. I mean, they've already been together for a while, but haven't made much noise. But in the bubble, the Suns went crazy with that 8-0 record. So, maybe they got some going. Now they added CP3 and Jay Crowder, who I believe will make Booker and Ayton better players. So, here we're starting to notice the trend. It's another just young duo who can dominate for years to come. They're not on the level of Jokic and Murray. I mean, Booker's better than Murray, but Jokic is significantly better than Ayton. So it becomes more lopsided. But honestly, I mean, Booker, I don't need to say anything about him. That's a pure scorer. And Ayton is a dominant big man who's averaging 18 points and 12 boards. 18 points, 12 boards, and 2 blocks last season, when he played. So, like you said, if he can stay healthy, we can see that duo, just kind of come together and flourish. I think veteran leadership from CP3 is going to help them. And just, being able to have a knockdown shooter like Jay Crowder, just, kind of pop those shots. I honestly think that the Suns will make a playoff run. So, and I think that we'll see D-Book and Ayton grow this season. So that's how I feel. Talk to me, Jalen.
I said D-Book and Ayton too, just because, the simple fact that they are the two shining stars coming up to like this next year. They're the people to look out for, especially Ayton. He was the number one pick. So, I mean, if he doesn't do
the Luka draft.
Yeah, the Luka draft, exactly. And if he doesn't do good this year, he's going to be considered a bust. So, it's either this year he does good or he's going to probably be like one of those just average players that just got a high pick for no reason. But I do feel like CP3 is a good addition because he is the person to develop other players. So him in the mix with Ayton and D-Book will be like a perfect – well, it's going to be more better, I guess, for their careers in the future for sure.
I like that point you brought up, Jalen, about DeAndre Ayton. If he doesn't do something this year, being a bust, and I think that's true. You know what I'm saying? If he doesn't prove that he can be what he was in college, I would label him a bust after this year. I'm not gonna lie to you, or not a Kwame Brown bust, but a bust though.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you guys something. So if DeAndre Ayton does what he did last season, plays about half the season, but puts up 18, 12, and 2 blocks, not assists, would you guys consider him a bust? Because basically you're looking at him. When he plays well. He just doesn't play much. It's almost like Kristaps Porzingis. Would you guys consider him a bust if he does the same thing he did last season?
Well, this will be his second year.
Third, right?
Third year.
Third year. Yeah, it's third year.
Yeah.
Third year, because
But still, 18, 12, and 2 is solid.
I'm expecting a bigger jump, man. I'm expecting a big. If they want to make the playoffs, he needs to make a bigger jump, man. And especially with CP. I was watching the Phoenix Suns this morning, man. CP just, I'm not I genuinely calls me a CP hater, but you know what I'm saying. Like CP, like I don't think he's enough to get him over the hump, but he's still a great player. He's still a great facilitator. Like, he will get you the ball when you don't even know where it's coming. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like if he doesn't even average over like 20 this season, I don't know if I could give him like that like, oh, he's a good player. You know, you feel what I'm saying?
Like for sure.
20 points for Chris Paul?
No, for Aiden.
Oh, okay, man. You kind of lost me there for a second. Okay, my bad, Jalen. Go ahead.
No, but for sure. Forgot what I was gonna say, but it was about how I think CP3 is for sure gonna if he's playing and if he's in like the loop of the offense, there's no way that D-Book and Aiden aren't gonna have 20 points a game. You know, because he's gonna be facilitating and being the ball handler. Like besides Booker coming up and handling the ball, it'll be CP3 this time, which is gonna put a lot of stress off of D-Book, so he has more open looks.
I feel it. I feel that. All right, so moving on to the next team, man. We got probably one of the best young duos, man. Like Junior mentioned, man, we got the Mavs. And, boy, when KP comes back, when Kristaps Porzingis come back, it's on for the Mavs, man. Because clearly we got Luka and Kristaps, man. And just them two. And Kristaps didn't even really play all of last playoffs. Just them two almost eliminated the Clippers. You know, so I want to talk about game one. So because I want to show how much they really complement each other. So game one, Kristaps Porzingis put 20 points, game one last year against the Clippers. Kristaps put 20 points, seven rebounds. Luka put 42 points, nine assists, 7 rebounds. Game two, Kristaps put 23 points, 7 rebounds. Luka put 28, 7, and 8. Game three, Kristaps put 34 points, 14 rebounds, and Luka put 13 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. So I feel like their game really complements each other because, like, when one has a down game, the other is easily able to pick it up and really be that star player. Because when Kristaps was in New York, he was that guy. Like, he was the solidified guy. He was who they went to. And now that they're together, if Luka has a bad game, like in game three, Luka only scored 13 points. He did still have a triple-double, you know, but then when he had 10 points, Kristaps put 34 and 14, man. So that is a scary duo if Kristaps can stay healthy, like how Junior mentioned. How you guys feel about the Mavs, man?
Man, are we seeing a baby light junior version of LeBron and AD? Are we?
With Luka and Kristaps?
And KP, yeah.
LeBron and AD. The Euro version.
Like a young LeBron and AD?
The Euro version.
The Euro version. That's funny. Man, I agree. I mean, it's got to be Luka and KP. But it's tough, though, because KP barely played. You know, but when he does, he's on fire. Like you said, you know, he puts up 34 and 14. You know, I mean, he could honestly do that in his sleep because he's a 7-3 player who can shoot. Man. I mean, that's just nuts. He was averaging like 20 and 10. And you combine him with Luka, who could just like Jokic. Luka's the type of player that could just pair with anybody, and that's another young player that could probably dominate the league for years to come. That one is probably the best young core. It's up there with Jokic and Murray. Luka's much better than Murray, but Jokic is better than KP. But KP's not that far back when he's healthy.
Yeah,
KP's solid, and I mean they're going to be a good pair. But that's only until Luka leaves to join Anthony Davis and form a better duo.
Okay.
No. In all seriousness, with them on the Mavs, I mean that's a solid duo. We're trying to see more of KP though, because John already knows the best type of ability.
It's availability.
Talk to him.
Talk to me, Jalen. How you feel about the Mavs?
Man, I feel like the same thing that you just said. The best. What you say again?
What best young duo?
Best type of ability is availability.
Oh,
best ability is availability, and I feel like if Porzingis could play a full 82 games, we could see what him and Luka could really do together, or like what they could really do together. Because we really haven't seen that many games with them together because Porzingis is always hurt, and Porzingis is a all-star potential type big. So both of them together on the court for a whole 82 games. That would be scary to see. Probably like a 60-plus win season for sure.
Definitely.
Luca and KP in the cut. That's a scary sight.
Very excited.
All right, man. So moving on to the next team, I got a question. Why are the Spurs so bad?
Because their duo's old.
DeMar DeRozan is a good player. LaMarcus Aldridge is a good player. Why can't they win? I picked them as a duo, but why? Can somebody explain to me why the Spurs? I actually had nothing positive to say about them.
West is packed. That's the first issue question. The West is loaded.
But but it's not like they're weak players. They're two good players.
No, they're good players, but I think you might have forgotten the best availability. I don't have the stats here how many games LaMarcus missed, but I remember always seeing him out on the injury report. So if he's not playing much, what's going to happen then? But honestly, no, I hear you. It's just it's a young man's game, and now with DeMar and LaMarcus getting older, they're just kind of falling behind a little bit. I mean, I picked them too. They're an experienced duo. 5 years ago, this probably would have been a top 5 duo in the league. But today they're not there anymore. But still, they're solid, like you said. DeRozan's averaging 22, 6, and 6. LaMarcus 19, 2, and 7 last year. And with a head coach like Popovich, they can never be counted out unless he says something dumb and gets ejected. But you can never count them out. So I hear you. It is a little perplexing how they're not doing better, but it's just there's so many good options in the West. That's why they can't make the playoffs.
I just feel like the tandem of DeMar and LaMarcus is like the perfect embodiment of what the Spurs are. Just like a not a good team, but like not a bad team. Just like an in between team. Kind of like not that good, but like they're kind of like that in between team. So I feel like them together, it is good, but nothing's really going to happen for them in the future. I don't see anything like any playoff runs or anything because they're such an average team.
So if they were in the East, would they be making the playoffs?
Definitely.
I agree.
Definitely. All right.
I agree.
So,
it's time for the NBA to switch everything over to the 16 top teams. No more West, no more East. Boom.
Cool.
Rank them first 1 through 16. Because then you get games like you get the Magic making the playoffs, and
You want me to talk to Adam
Talk to Adam.
I got
you. Got the number, right? You got the
number?
Yeah,
I'll call Adam Silver. I got
I
you.
appreciate that. Let him know. Let him know. Let him know Junior sent you.
Got you. All right, man. So moving on to the next team, man. We got the Blazers. The Blazers, man. I went with Dame and CJ. A scary duo when they catch fire, man. And honestly, even a couple years ago when the Splash Brothers were in, when Curry and Clay, I still would take Dame and CJ over them, man, because as a shooting duo. As a shooting duo,
Clay and Steph are both top 5 shooters.
Check this out. Klay Thompson is not a come down court, break you down, and shoot. CJ and Dame are a come down court, dribble, break you down, and shoot. Klay Thompson just runs off all these screens, right?
Yeah.
While and Curry can come down court and break you down, of course. But you have Dame and CJ that can catch and shoot, and can shoot off the dribble. Klay Thompson can't really shoot off the dribble as well as CJ McCollum can. At least in my eyes, Klay Thompson needs to be running off these screens and catching and shooting, while Dame and CJ don't. They can do that, and they can also dribble.
But I want you guys to think about something though. This whole time the Warriors have sucked. Even when Curry's there, they've not been so good. Klay hasn't been there. What if Klay the whole time was the reason the Warriors were winning?
It's Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is the reason the Warriors are winning.
But maybe he doesn't need to come down court and break you down, because he just play, his play style is different. He can come off screens, and when he pops them coming off screens, this guy's like automatic, and he's a great defender too. So it's tough to. I mean, I don't know if we're just looking at their offense, but if you're looking at the players as a whole, Klay Thompson is probably the best defender out of those 4 players, and by a long shot too. It's a solid defender. So I don't know. It's tough to say they're better than Steph and Klay, but I see your point. Do
you guys ever see the Blazers making like a championship run?
No.
If they not in the West, honestly, not in the West, and unless they add like a dominant, like I'm talking like a Sabonis to their team like that. Like unless they added like a Sabonis to their team, that's the only way.
So you guys are keeping TJ and Dame on the team for sure, like most definitely. Like they're the. Like,
That's the thing. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Do you think that them together is like really like like the thing that's like I feel like one of them needs to get traded or some drastic in order for them to make a real playoff run because CJ has a lot of value. So him and Dame together, I think they're good together, but they're not gonna make that jump to like the championship level.
I agree with you. I mean, I'm saying this about CJ after he just waxed the Lakers like 2 days ago, but
Man,
but I don't think they can make a playoff run. I've been championship run. I've been saying this for years. Dame is not going to win in Portland unless, like you said, they makes a drastic addition or he goes somewhere else. But then he's not winning in Portland. But I was going to say Dame's not winning a title until he basically gets a big piece added to Portland. Or comes to another team, goes to another team. Now, there are a duo that's been together for a long time. Actually, probably out of all the duos, they might have been together the longest, but they haven't been able to achieve anything. But they're always a threat. It's that type of thing that they're stuck in this like they're good but not good enough type of
which is the worst place to be.
Yeah, because they're not going to get good draft picks, but they're also not going to win any titles.
Yeah,
they're both solid players. Dame's probably a top 10 player in the league, and CJ complements him well. And they might have one of the best backcourts in the league, but it's tough to see them doing anything, with such a loaded Western Conference. Now, I want you guys to tell me if you're the Blazers GM and you can get James Harden, but you got to package up CJ and some other assets too. Would you do that? Because Harden is a 2, Dame's a 1. Maybe that's the firepower they need.
I don't know.
You don't know. I think I would. What do you think, Jalen?
Well, because James Harden is going to score for you. He's going to put 44 up for you regardless. But so is Dame. I don't
That's
know.
88 points.
That's 88 points.
That's a lot, but that's a lot of shots getting took from Dame. That's a lot of shots getting took from Dame. And James Harden sometimes takes some dumb shots.
Yeah, but if you're Dame, you're looking at this and you're looking at this like, wow, that's a real possibility of winning a title now. I mean, you put some solid pieces around them, you got a possibility of winning a title because you got Dame, Harden. Like that. First of all, that would be the best point guard he's played with, right? Like CP3 is a better career than Dame, but the CP3 that Harden played with is not the CP3 Harden played with. It's not as good as current Blazers Dame. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I agree, but I also I don't think that James Harden can win with another ball dominant player. He needs to win with another player that's like passive, right? Another like a CP3.
Like CP3 was there,
but James Harden is a cancer, though. James Harden is a cancer. Like he is a locker room cancer to me.
Right, but so is Kyrie Irving, and he's getting maxed out, right? Like,
I mean, but maxed out don't mean you gonna win. I don't think.
No. Yeah, but you don't pass up on having like you think like no one's gonna take James Harden because he's a bad locker room guy. Like he's still a bucket.
Not that no one's gonna take him, but I wouldn't ruin my team for him. I wouldn't ruin CJ.
Yeah, but Houston's not just gonna let him walk. So you're gonna have to give up something big. Like if he goes to Portland, CJ's for sure on the table. He's got to be, right? Like,
how do you see that 3 working together? The Dame, CJ, and James Harden. How would that?
No, I think CJ was split if Harden were to come. So I don't know. Imagine you got Nurkic, Carmelo, Dame, Harden, and I don't know. I mean, Zach Collins is out again. He's out again.
Oh, he's out.
Yeah, I don't know for how long though, but I think it's for a while. I think he got some sort of serious. I think he hurt his ankle, tweaked his ankle or something. I'm not sure, but let's say if he's in, that's a solid starting 5. Like if you catch the right string of teams, you could make a run. Like I don't know. I think if I'm the Blazers GM, I'm at least listening to the offer. If it's like give up CJ and Nurkic, give up that starting 5 I just told you, then not.
No.
But if it's like CJ and some lower end players, some draft picks, I think I would do it. Take the gamble. I mean, they had Whiteside, so maybe they're already used to a bad locker room.
All right.
I mean, I don't know. That's a tough one. I really want to know what you guys thought of that.
All right. So moving on to the next team, man. We got the Kings. So the Kings, unfortunately, man, they still have Luke Walton as a coach. So unfortunately, they still have another bad season as long as he's there because they have one of the fastest players in the NBA, and they're running a half-court set offense. I don't understand why. And the duo I picked is De'Aaron Fox and Buddy Hield, man. You know, like I mentioned, fastest player in the league and one of the greater shooters right now in the league. Buddy Hield ranked third last year in most made threes. So, but I mean, yeah, just same thing. If Luke Walton's there, they will never win. But that duo is good. How you guys feel about him?
I want to talk about Luke Walton real quick. Do you guys remember when he was assistant coach on the Warriors?
Yeah.
And he won like a freaking 38 out of 40 games, something like that. And they're like, this is the kid genius, Luke Walton, the best coach. You guys remember that? And I kept saying to people, bro, it's the Warriors with KD and Steph and Clay. Like, I could coach him and go 40-0. And I said, Luke Walton's not that good of a coach. And he came to the Lakers and he wasn't good. He's on the Kings. He's not good. Like, it's just funny how people just jump sometimes to these conclusions. But I think this was a tough one to pick a duo for. We know it's Fox and somebody, but I didn't know if that somebody was going to be Buddy Hield, Whiteside, or Marvin Bagley. If I had to choose one though, I want to say Whiteside. Now he just joined, so I can't pick him there just yet because they've only played 5 games. But I wanted to say Whiteside if we're just looking at Whiteside last season. Fox, obviously, I don't need to say anything. He's proven that he's a solid player, averaging 21, 7, and 4, and getting a bag while doing it. Whiteside led the league with 16 points and 14 rebounds and 3 blocks a game. Like, that's crazy. I don't know how he stayed on the board for that long on free agency, but he did. But if he's solid like last year, he'll go well with Fox. I just think the Kings need to make some sort of move, some sort of noise, before Fox gets unsettled. But in the West, it's tough to make any noise. I think that's the dilemma that they're in. But, like I said, Fox and Whiteside haven't been together that long, so it's hard to pick them as a pair. But if not, I like Hield, but I like Bagley too. Bagley is nice, but he's got the KP problem, lack of availability. So when Bagley is playing, though, that's a nice player. I mean, he was a top 3 pick, if I'm not mistaken. He might have been actually, wasn't he taken ahead of Luka?
He was number 2.
Yeah, right in front of Luka, right? Or
after
Luka or Trey. I think they got traded, but
yeah, Trey was number 5.
Sheesh. Man, the Kings have also a history of passing up on good players. But Bagley's nice. He just needs to play. That's all. He needs to be available.
Mm-hmm.
How you feel, Joe?
I'm feeling Fox and Bagley just because of their potential as individual players. Them together, the potential of both of them together is pretty it's pretty cool too. Just thinking about that because they're both very athletic players. But you say that Luke Walton plays a half-court set for one of the most athletic point guards, one of the fastest point guards in the league today, which doesn't make sense. So as long as they keep him in the front office and the head coach, they're not going to do anything. But talent-wise and individuality-wise, for sure, Fox and Bagley.
Definitely. All right, man. So for this next team, man. So both of y'all already know that every Clutch Talk episode, John is due for one hot take at least. I'm due for one hot take, man. So I think this is a hot take. Cause last time I thought I had a hot take and y'all it wasn't so hot. So for this hot take, man, we got the Pelicans, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and go last. I want y'all to go first for these, man. So who y'all got for the Pelicans?
I'll go first on this one.
Go ahead, Jalen.
So for the Pelicans, I put Zion and Brandon Ingram. They are both very solid players. Ingram is a potential all-star because he was so he was one of the more underrated players last year. No one really looked at him, but he had a very good season last season. And Zion is going to be averaging 27 and 12 per game this year. He's already averaging that right now. And he's one of the brighter stars. Both of them are both brighter stars in the league. Zion and Ingram are both number 1, number 2 picks. So, I mean, they were kind of destined to be the duo what they are right now. So what do you think, Junior?
I got the same thing. I got B.I. and Zion. I mean, One is a scorer, the other one is just straight power and muscle. You know, like we talked about the Suns with D-Book and Ayton, they're also a combination of a pure scorer and a dominant player, but, you know, Zion's just a lot more mobile than Ayton is. And honestly, I think with Adams now on the team, Steven Adams on the team, I think Zion is not going to have to bang himself in the paint as much, so he can preserve himself a little bit more, maybe try to get healthy, get his feet under him. And, you know, he barely played last season, but when he did, he balled out, and B.I. balled out all season, winning most improved players. So, you know, this combination is another point for, you know, just the young guns. They're going to continue to dominate for a while. And that's why I got those two. But I'm curious to hear John's hot take here. Let's see.
So
I was about to say Josh Hart and Lonzo Ball or something.
No. So I hear you guys out. I hear you guys with BI and Zion. Like I hear you guys, and I think Zion is going to take a huge leap this year. You know, I've been watching some of the Pelicans. He's really learning to use his body. You know, he's like use his body to get players off of him, and he's his free throws getting better. But Junior said it, man. I'm going with B.I. and Steven Adams, dog.
Oh.
Steven Adams is so slept on. I think he's like an Enes Kanter, but like 10 times better.
Ooh, you didn't say anything else. I know you and Ennis.
Steven Adams is a good bro. He is a solid center. He does things that aren't counted in the stat sheet, right? Those screens he set, almost every single player has said that Steven Adams screens are one of the hardest screens they've ever ran into, right? And last year, Steven Adams averaged 5 offensive rebounds per game. Imagine how many second chance points BI is gonna get when, you know what I'm saying, BI misses or somebody misses, and Steven, that's five extra possessions you're getting a game. All right, and that Steven Adams is bringing it down, and I also think that Steven Adams is also one of those mobile bigs, right? He can set that screen, roll, he can get the lob, but most importantly to me, why I chose that duo is because of that 5 offensive rebounds that he got last season. And I think that's huge. I think he's gonna get BI so many second chance baskets. Yeah, so you know, I really wanted to go, you know, with Zion. And yes, I agree that Steven Adams still has to prove himself. You know what I'm saying? I know it's his first year on the Pelicans, but I think looking at him on the Thunder and then pairing him up with BI, I think it's gonna be scary, man. You know what I'm saying? You know how BI comes off those screens, man. He comes right off the shoulder. He comes with a shot or something. So, and Steven Adams is in there, get that second chance bucket, kick it right back to him, man. So I went to Steven Adams. So that's my hot take for the episode.
So then let me ask you a question. Who, if you had to pick one player that's the future of the Pelicans, the face of the franchise, who is that?
BI.
Okay, so it's not Zion.
No. I think it's BI.
Okay.
BI is that guy.
He's dude.
He's that guy.
And he's about it too, on site.
He's that guy.
Okay, cool. No, I just didn't know, because a lot of people will say Zion, you know? A lot of people will say Zion. And I agree with you. I think it's BI. But a lot of people will say Zion, and I didn't want to I wanted to see if you were going to say BI and Adams and then say, but Zion's the face. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. But
yeah, I think
you're consistent with what you choose, so I like that. Okay, cool. All right, your hot take.
All right, so moving on to the next team, man. I got the Thunder. Honestly, I was looking at the roster. I was like, who do I pick with Shea? And hearing Junior's answer earlier, I was like, now I might just switch my answer, because my answer actually is Shea and Cade Cunningham, which he's actually a college player right now, and he's probably gonna get in a mock draft. He's supposed to get picked by the Thunder, and honestly, that's what I went with, because they have nobody else. Like, they have Al Horford, who's like 45. They have like Al Horford, who's like 45. I know you're gonna talk about Dort. Don't bring Dort in the conversation. You got Dort? Do you got Dort, Jalen?
Yeah, I got Dort, yeah.
Oh, come on. Don't bring Dort in the conversation, man. Dort is just
Dort is a boy.
He's just a defensive player, man. Get him out of here.
Man, Lou Dort is a boy. All right, I'm going to talk.
That's really all I got, man. Like, honestly, I went with Shea and the Cade Cunningham, which he's a college player right now. He's going to get picked by them next year. And I think that's honestly their second best player at this point.
You put no respect on Lou Dort, man. He had a solid playoff run, and
he had a playoff series.
Yeah, no, but, I mean they only lasted one round, but it wasn't much there could do. I mean, they were heavily outmatched by the Rockets. Just the fact they took them to 7 was impressive, you know. But I got Dort and SGA because SGA is the future of the team.
Definitely.
And I think that Dort goes well with them. He had an impressive bubble run, almost beat the Rockets, and you know, and he started the season well too. So like recently, there has not been many bad Lou Dort games. You know, SGA obviously proved himself last season that he's a solid player. I think that I don't know if I'm ready to say SGA is a star, but he's a very, very solid player, and I think he's going to make that jump into star, right? Like you're going to go from, you know, a solid player to a good player to a star to a superstar. Superstar is reserved for the LeBrons, the ADs, the Dames, the Hardens, but I think SGA is a good right now, and he can make that jump into star mode. And honestly, I think that it's a small sample size this season, but they're both averaging 20 points a game already this season, both SGA and Dort. Like, I mean, that's solid. And I'm not picking Lou Dort because he's some insane player, but like you said, the options are very slim. Like, there's not that many options on the Thunder. From the options available, I think Lou Dort's the best pick, not some college kid who might not even go there.
Man, that's how I'm feeling.
Sheesh. All right, talk to me,
you got
Jalen.
Dort
Jalen
too?
agrees with me.
Yeah, I picked Dort and SGA because Dort is going to be a good, I guess, second option for this year. They don't really have that many options besides SGA right now, but SGA has a very bright future because like when he was on the Clippers, he wasn't even noticed, and then he got noticed when he went to the OKC, and I feel like he's going to keep on progressing and keep on getting better at what he does. So I feel like in the next couple of years, if they get somebody, which the OKC might have to do because they're not going to just make it playoffs wise just with this team that they have right now. And yeah, they lost a lot of players, so it's what they have to rely on right now.
By the way, let's just take a moment to realize how well SGA is developing and think about the Clippers blew that for Paul George.
Man.
And it wasn't just straight up SGA for Paul George. It was SGA plus Gallinari plus a bunch of picks, like their next 10 years worth of picks for Paul George. Ooh, and he finessed them into a 5-year contract too. That, like Paul George's agent needs a Nobel Prize, man, because how you get a 5-year contract after that performance? Sheesh.
That's terrible.
Man, he got some
right.
Rich Paul type of agent there.
All right, so moving on to the next team, man. So we got the Rockets. So for the Rockets, I went with the scary duo of James Harden and the strip clubs. I'm just kidding out, man.
Lou Will's fuming right now. He's like, "That's my duo."
Man, I went with the unknown duo because you know, let's see how they pan out this whole season. But I went with the unknown duo of Harden and John Wall if Harden stays on the team, man. You know, because the reason why I think this is going to work out so well is because John Wall hasn't played an NBA game in 2 years. He's not just going to come back into it shooting 30 shots a game, you know, and that's exactly what James Harden needs. James Harden needs a player who is not going to take away from his shots. James Harden needs his 25 shots a game at least, right? He needs the 25 to 30 shots a game, and John Wall is going to have to he's going to ease his way back into it, and I think that easing his way back into it isn't going to take away from Harden too much, and that right there is to me what could work. How you guys feel about the Rockets, man? Because there was a couple of options you could have gone with. There's a couple of different ways. How you guys feel?
I picked John Wall and James Harden just simply because I believe that John Wall might do something this year. You know, we haven't seen him, like you said, in 2 years, so no telling if this is going to be a bust season or just like one of his average seasons. So we don't even know that if he might even get hurt again. You know, but James Harden is the best scorer in the league. No one could guard him. He could score at will. It's kind of scary to see how easy he scores. It's like a science to him. So him just by himself is all he really needs. He doesn't really need anybody else. But if he wants to make a good playoff run, he'll need somebody else. But at the moment, John Wall is the best player the second best player to James Harden because of the fact that he won't take away his shots. He'll give him the ball. He'll be more reluctant to give up the ball. So that's what I
Definitely.
Yeah. No, I hear you. So honestly, this was a tough one to pick for me too, because I went with James Harden and blank, just like the Warriors as well. And I'll tell you why though. So I mean, I could come up with a player, and it's Eric Gordon, but that's because of options left, you know. But I'll tell you why. So I was gonna say Harden Wall first, just like you guys did, but I thought to myself, I can't say anything about him because
Yeah, but see,
I can't say anything about him because he hasn't played, right? So
Yeah.
then I thought, let's go Harden Boogie, and I'm like, well, same thing as well. He hasn't played. It's like I'm not even saying they haven't played together. Like they haven't played each in like over a year. So it's just like it's not just I haven't seen Harden and Wall or Harden and Boogie play together. Like I haven't seen Wall or Boogie play in over a year. So it's just I can't say how they're gonna be, you know. So then I was gonna say, okay, I guess I'll have to go with Christian Wood, right? Since he's the next best player. But it's their first season together, so they actually have barely played together. So there really isn't a big duo in Houston, you know. That's why I went Harden and Gordon. They're the only ones having some experience together. And there were a couple games against the Lakers last postseason that they both heated up at the same time, and that was unstoppable. I mean, Harden was banging threes and Gordon was banging threes, and you're just like, man, what can I do out here? So honestly, this one's interesting. Honestly, like you said, it depends if Harden even stays, because it might be like Gordon and PJ Tucker at this point if he doesn't stay. But my guess is, like you guys said, it's going to become Harden and Wall. And we'll just have to see how they complement each other. You know, it's hard to complement Harden unless you're willing to pass first, because Harden demands the ball so much. But like Jalen said, you know, because he's coming off that injury, he's not going to be, you know, driving and putting his body on the line. He's probably going to be looking to dish it out more often. So it could work out for Harden pretty well.
okay, got you. All right, so man, let's move on to the next team, man. Let's talk about the team over there in Utah, Jazz, man. So I think it's pretty clear, man. I went with Spider, you know, Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. You know what I'm saying? Because Donovan Mitchell, he's an offensive killer, man. He's a bucket. He's a bucket. We saw how much of a bucket he was in this playoffs when he was going at it with Murray, like 50-point games. They was just going at it. That was a good series to watch. And then Rudy Gobert, even though he's the coronavirus starter, he's still a great defensive anchor, man. You know what I'm saying? So I went with that duo. I doubt there is any disagreement, but how you guys feeling about that?
I'm with you. Gobert and Mitchell. My guy Spider does not get enough respect, man. Like you said, he went toe-to-toe with Murray and that Nuggets team that went to the conference finals. Like, that's a solid player. Gobert has fallen off a little bit from where he used to be, but what he used to be was back-to-back Defensive Player of the Year. So it's like he's still really good. He's a very solid player, very good player who's a defensive threat. And honestly, like you said, they make one of the best 1-2 punches in the league. They're young. They're almost comparable to a Jokic Murray type of combination, right? Where Jokic is better than Gobert, but Mitchell is better than Murray, in my opinion. So it becomes, you know, a close contest, and that's probably one of the closest contests I think we could do, like comparable duos that are really close to each other. I think that's it. I think Jokic is better than Gobert, but not by a landslide, and I think Mitchell's better than Murray, but not by a landslide. So I think it's actually probably like 1A and 1B, Mitchell and Murray. Like those are very similar players, I think. But I got to give the edge to my guy Spider.
Well,
Okay.
I put Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert too, just because Rudy Gobert is, like you said, back-to-back Defensive Player of the Year, and Murray is a born scorer. He's probably one of the best scorers, top 5 in the league right now, behind James Harden, KD, and Kyrie. I feel like he's one of the best scorers right now. He's someone that's going to get you, 25, 30 points on a nightly basis. And him and Rudy Gobert playing together, they're going to be good. They're not going to make a big playoff run, but they're going to be good enough to make the playoffs.
Definitely. All right, I feel that. All right, so let's move on to the last two teams, man. So let's talk about the Grizzlies, man. Unfortunately, Ja Morant just got hurt with that tweaked ankle, so he'll be out for a little bit. But I went with Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. when I looked at their age, my heart sunk. I was like, these guys were born a couple of months after me, man. Like, they're both 21. They're both 21. I was so crazy to see that, man. They're inexperienced because they're so young, but besides Luka and KP, they might have like and maybe Murray and Jokic, they might have one of the brightest futures, man. Like, they are nice and young, and I think that like I mentioned, this is a pick and roll league. But the thing is, Jaren Jackson, he's athletic, right? He can run the pick and roll, throw in the lob. But the thing I like about Jaren Jackson, the Grizzlies a lot, is that Jaren Jackson can shoot. So they can run a pick and fade. Jaren Jackson can can set the screen and fade to the three. He shot 37% from three last season, and not just because he just only shot a couple of shots. No, he took more than 5 attempts a game and shot 30. That's better than John Morant even shot from a 3-point percentage. So, like, man, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what that duo can do. And I'm gonna be looking out for them, man, because both 21, dog. Like, those are two kids. Those are two kids.
Literally.
How you guys feel about that? I mean, y'all agree or what?
Well, first off, R.I.P. to Morant. It's gonna happen to players like that. Do like a lot
Hold up,
Man,
I
why?
must have missed out on some news.
Wait, Morant, he twisted his ankle.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
died.
No, my bad. I said rip. My bad, but
No, I like that. I like that. I
He
like
gonna
that.
hit it and die.
no, because like players like John Morant and like Zion Williamson, like the young players that do like a lot of jumping, like a lot of rebounding and stuff like that, they're bound to get twisted ankles and stuff like that. So sucks for them, but Morant's gonna be good in the next couple of weeks. And I thought this whole time, because I haven't been watching that much Grizzlies basketball this year, but I thought that Jaren Jackson was traded, so that's why I didn't put him in my duo. So I put Valanciunas or Brooks.
What about Brendan Clark? I'd probably put Brendan Clark before those two.
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't know. I don't know, bro. Brooks is a scorer. He could get beats.
Nice.
He's nice.
Yeah.
How you feel, Jim?
Man, guess what? You guessed it. Another young pair. So I got John Triple J as well. Ja's rookie of the year. Proved he's a solid player who's here to stay. He's electrifying. And Triple J is an underrated player who pairs well with Ja. Stretch forward with a respectable shot. But the West is tough, so we'll see what they could do. But one thing that I do want to say, that I always say, best availability. Triple J got injured last season. Ja's injured now. So we need them both to stay healthy for us to see what they could do. But I'm going to have to go ahead and disagree with you, John, on the fact that you said that they're one of the best duos to come because there's just so many good duos. Ja's nice. Triple J's not quite there for me. I get it. He's a solid big that can shoot. But, I mean, when you go through the people we listed, Jokic and Murray, I don't know how Gobert is, but I don't think he's old. So Gobert, Mitchell, Luka, and KP, and I just think it's going to be tough to be the best. I guess I can see him being top 5 in a couple years, but
I would definitely put him behind Luka and KP and Murray and Jokic, but like when we're talking about the young duos, I don't know if anyone besides them
what about D-Book and Ayton? Because I don't
know. If the best ability is availability, DeAndre Ayton barely even played a season and he's played 3 seasons.
And if Zion develops into the player that he could be, then it's going to be, maybe he'll be able to take Steven Adams' spot in your pair, and you could have BI and Zion. I mean, there's a lot of good young players. But I hear you though. Like that's for sure a solid duo for years to come. So yeah. I got him as well. I think Triple J is nice. So we'll see when they get a little bit more time together now that they're both in there. I don't know when was Triple J drafted? Is he? He's not in the second year, is he?
His second year.
Third year?
Third year, yeah.
Something like that. But he's a young gun. So
yeah, he's a young. He's 21. He's 21.
Yeah. So there's basically still a lot. We're gonna see them kind of develop and just kind of grow into the players they're gonna be.
Mm-hmm. All right, definitely. All right, so let's move on to the last team, man. So let's go to the Wolves, man. So this is a real I'm waiting. You know what I'm saying? We got two great individual players in D'Angelo Russell and Karl-Anthony Towns. But, you know, we all know they're homies. We all know they've been friends since like high school. So they got great chemistry. But can they put it together? You know what I'm saying? That's what I want to see. Can they get that Wolves team to the playoffs? That's the real question. Can they get them to the playoffs? Because those are two great players. Like D'Lo is an all-star. Cat is an all-star. But can they do it together? You know what I'm saying? And to you know, I just talked about that pick and pop game, right? Set a screen and pop to the three, fade to the three. Cat, man, he shoots better than most point guards. The man shoots 41% from the 3-point field. Like, I don't know a lot of point guards that even shoot like that. So, man, I'm excited. I'm really excited to see. And but I really don't know. So I wanted to ask you guys a question. Like, do you think that is enough to get them to the playoffs? Because I genuinely don't know. I'm looking because it's the West. That's the only reason why I say I don't know. That's why. Yeah. I don't know.
If it was the East, no doubt. If it was the East, no doubt. But in the West, nah. No. Like, it's too difficult. I got Cat and D'Lo as well, and I mean, it's they're a good pair, but the West is just way too packed. You know, man. I mean, it's tough for them to be able to do anything. I mean, D'Lo has fallen off from his Nets days. That's not to say that he's bad now, but you know, he wasn't the same D'Lo that we saw on the Nets when he was on the Warriors. And he hasn't been so far on the Wolves. He just hasn't been that impressive. But I think now maybe with Rubio at the 1, it's going to actually free him up to play the 2 more, which I think actually suits him better for how he's developed as a player. He actually fits a 2 guard more than a 1 guard, in my opinion. So having Rubio there is going to free him up to play that 2 a little bit, you know, without having to dish off the responsibility. I mean, he's a scoring guard. You know, what's a scoring guard? That's a 2. You know, a 1's a passing guard, a 2's a scoring guard. Mm-hmm. So I think it's going to help him develop a little more. And I mean, Cat's been getting better and better each season. I think, honestly, I don't even think this is a hot take, but he's probably a top 3 center in the league.
Almost
definitely. You know, off the top of my head, I'm thinking Jokic, Cat, and Embiid when he's healthy. You know, I might be forgetting. I might be like having a huge omission right now, but it's the top 3 that I can think right now. But
maybe
you know, it's a solid duo. And they have the potential to dominate the league for a while. I mean, Cat's already great. If D'Lo could play like Nets D'Lo, that's, in my opinion, that's a better young duo than Ja and Triple J. Like, and they are both young, and that's what I think. Because Nets D'Lo was most improved player of the year, right? Or 6th man of the year. I don't remember. He won some sort of award. I think he was most improved.
He's an all-star. He was an all-star that year.
He was an all-star, yeah. So. And he wasn't most improved. That was Pascal Siakam that year, but D'Lo was right there.
To the All-Star team.
Yeah. So D'Lo was right there, and Cat. I mean, Cat's Cat. Like, we didn't talk about that. So I think that's a better pair than Triple J, and Ja. But I mean, I don't know. That's a solid duo. We just got to see D'Lo get back to where he used to be. I haven't watched any Timberwolves games except for the game against the Lakers. And if that game is any telltale, it's not going to work out. We'll see. What do you think, Jalen?
I'm thinking Cat and D'Lo too, just because individually they're both good players, and I just want to see how they're gonna mesh together. You know, like you said that they are good friends, but good friends don't mean that they play well together. You know, so exactly. We just have to wait and see what they're gonna do and see if they can play well off of each other. But Rubio is a good addition because he's the one that's going to be really like dishing out the ball to them, and so the ball won't be in D'Lo's hand all the time. So that should put like a little stress off of him and let him go into his natural position, which is a 2 guard.
Definitely. There you have it, man. There you have it. That is the duos in the West, man. So since we went through every single duo in the West, man. I want to, at the end of this episode, I mean, we know the answer, but at the end of this episode, I want to say who is the best duo in the West. So I'm going to go ahead and go first. Clearly LeBron and AD. Junior?
I got LeBron and AD as well.
Jalen?
For sure. No question.
Definitely. And then, what's up, Junior?
No, but I was going to say, but definitely like comment down below like what your favorite duo is. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, I think generally we can all agree LeBron and AD is the best duo, but if you don't like the Lakers, they're probably not your favorite duo. You know what I mean? So let us know who your favorite duo is, because that's it's a big one too. Because honestly, man, even if they're not the best, there's so many good duos here that if you like one of them, that's a lot of fun to watch. That's a lot of fun to watch. Like even as not like I have made it very clear I'm not a Clippers guy, but I mean Kawhi and PG are both they're good players. Kawhi's a great player, and PG's a good player. So and I mean, just aside from that, there's other solid duos. I mean, pretty much every single duo on this list was a solid duo.
Yeah.
So let us know who your favorite is.
Definitely.
Yeah, and then next week we're gonna get to the East. Let's see these trash
These trash Easter guys, man. So yeah, man. There you have it, man. That is the duo, the best duo on each team in the Western Conference, man. As always, man, we appreciate everyone that tuned in, man. As always, go follow the Instagram, go follow Jalen Instagram, put it right there. Go follow Junior Instagram, put it right there, and go follow the Clutch Talk Instagram, man. That's where we're gonna drop all the updates of the channels, and when we're dropping podcast episodes and YouTubes and all that, man. Go and subscribe, and like how Junior said, comment your favorite duo. And get ready, man, because next week we coming with the East, man. So like how Jalen said, the beast in the East, man. So let's do this, man. I'm excited. Thank y'all. Thank both of you guys for coming on, man. As always, bro. Love y'all. Y'all my guys.
It's all love, man. I love being here. Appreciate you having us on.
As always, man. So that's it, man. We out here, y'all. Clutch Talk out.